is he doing? What is he doing? What the F are you doing?
What?
My daughter's in there!
What? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see her.
You got my baby high!
Got his baby high.
Hold on a second, all right? Nobody gets high the first time they smoke weed. Don't you know anything?
The man with the marijuana pipe there is Kal Penn of the Harold and Kumar movies and a former member of the president's White House team. He is just one of the Hollywood stars recruited to help sell the increasingly unpopular Obamacare program. Oprah Winfrey, Alicia Keys, Amy Poehler, and Bon Jovi, just some of the celebrity heavy hitters being tied to this recruitment project to the administration's new effort to convince Americans the law is a good thing. Leslie Marshall is a syndicated radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. Chris Plant, radio host of The Chris Plant Show. Welcome to you both.
Hey.
Good morning.
All right, Chris, listen, the administration has always told us we just needed to know what was in the law. Then people could exercise the benefits and appreciate it. So why not a little A-list help in explaining what's in there?
A-list? Kal Penn? I kid. Yeah, Kal Penn, you mentioned Kal Penn actually came to Washington and worked for the Obama administration for a brief period of time. Then he was mugged in DuPont Circle and he went back to Hollywood. I guess now he wants us all to take a couple of giant bong hits and sign up for Obamacare. And, you know, when I think of health care, I always think of Amy Poehler, you know, the Hollywood one percenters. This thing is a can of spam, all right, Obamacare, and they've enlisted Hollywood types to try to sell it to us because everything else has failed. The unions have turned against it. You've got moderate Democrats, to the extent that they exist on Capitol Hill, turning against it. Max Baucus, the author, said it's a train wreck. Harry Reid agreed with Max Baucus. This thing is a complete mess. So I guess this is, you know, one last desperate effort to celebritize it and see if that works in our idiocracy.
Well, and Leslie, I mean, you know, kids are influenced by these celebrities and they need young people to sign up because that's going to be the funding base, the healthy people who don't need it to subsidize the people with, you know, pre-existing conditions, high risk people, whatever. You know, is this going to be about convincing young people? Because a lot of them just say, listen, I got a problem. I go to the emergency room. I'm not really worried about it.
Well, that is the problem. That has been the problem. That's why we needed reformation, and that was agreed upon by both left and right, and has for decades been agreed upon because we saw what it was doing to our economy. People were saying, I don't need insurance. I'm going to wait until I'm critical and the bone is sticking out of my leg, and that's a huge problem, people going to the emergency room. So what we're doing is educating our young to a new way of thinking that will be healthy for not only our economy, but for our bodies with preventative care. Unfortunately, these kids look up to a lot of these people as heroes, as role models, more than they do politicians or people like you and me, Shannon and Chris, all of us, and they will listen. And I've met Kal Penn. Chris, be nice. That's a character he's playing. That's not him. He worked in Washington for a year. That was the deal that he took off from his career, and he did have films in the works. And I've met him at a fundraiser, actually, and he's actually a very nice man. He's very, very intelligent.
All right, listen, Chris, I got to ask you, from the inception of the law, from its drafting to its passing to the implementation as each piece rolls out, I got to tell you, there are parts of this I have a hard time understanding, all of the exchanges and the regulations and the clauses. You know, how can we expect celebrities to be able to really get all that, boil it down, and be able to communicate it in a way that makes sense to people?
Well, I don't think they're even going to try that. I mean, this doesn't make sense to the people that allegedly wrote the bill. It's thousands of pages of incoherent government insanity. The lawyers can't figure it out. The unions can't figure it out. Nobody can figure it out. Healthcare professionals can't figure it out. It's, you know, I'm not sure it's figure-outable. The idea here is just to celebritize it as they celebritize everything. I mean, it's part of the dumbing down of America. And, you know, and it's not about, it wasn't a reformation. I think that was a religious event. But, you know, healthcare reform, I think, is something that a lot of people in Washington, Republican and Democrats, agree that we ought to do something about. Just not this. You know, this we need to put behind us and then start doing sensible things. Nobody can figure it out. They don't want to explain it to people. They just want to convince people to buy it, because this really is a scheme. It's a redistribution of wealth scheme. The wealth goes from the young to the old, but that doesn't work if the young don't buy into it. So you've got to convince them that something they don't want to do is something they do want to do, and a new monthly bill for them. Congratulations to young people all over America. we're going to take their money away from them and transfer it to old people who need health care. I mean, that's, if they want to explain it, that's a pretty good short explanation for young people that they're trying to convince to buy into this.
Leslie, does the administration, though, risk this kind of criticism by attaching these big names to something that's so complicated, and the polling increasingly shows the longer it rolls out, the less popular it is?
Well, quite frankly, I think, Shannon, you know, maybe it's because I'm here sitting 20 minutes from Hollywood. I think a lot of people on the right are just jealous that we Democrats have so many celebrities in our pocket and they write such big checks, because anytime a celebrity does anything, and it's not a surprise, get out the vote, etc., you know, buddies like Chris here on the right get really upset with us. But the bottom line here is you're educating these kids about prevention. There was a time that we didn't want warning labels on cigarettes. This is something that is good for their health. This is not just about money. This is something that is good for the overall health of this nation and going forward. And what we're doing is we're retraining the youth to change the mindset of what many of us and our parents and our grandparents have had, which is, I'll deal with it when I'm critical. But if you prevent, you not only can live healthier and live longer, but you also won't damage the economy in the process.
All right, Chris, quick final word to you.
It's brainwashing, it's indoctrination, it's celebritizing it. You know, Harold and Kumar go to the emergency room. Maybe there will be a series.
Hey, if they make that, you know.
Harold and Kumar go in for primary care because it's the best thing for them. I mean, come on, it's a last desperate gasp at trying to keep this thing alive.
Maybe they'll visit a medical marijuana dispensary. Who knows? Yeah. All right, Leslie, Chris, good to see you both. Thank you.
Thanks.
You too, Shannon.